I helped my brother leave his bride at the altar because she invited our mother. I have 2 older brothers and I'm the youngest at 28. Exil is 30 and lives abroad. This story is about my middle brother. Our mom was insanely jealous of everyone and everything. She drove our dad away when she accused me of trying to seduce him. He divorced her and she quickly moved on with another man who had 2 kids. They shared custody of us for a while, but when our dad remarried, she lost it. She called his new wife all kinds of nasty names and said he was cheating on her with her. I never liked my mum because she was always cruel to me. I was closer to my dad and my brothers. Then tragedy struck. Our stepmom died in a car crash and our dad was devastated. He called our mum in the middle of the night to tell her he would pick us up early for the funeral, but she had other plans. She took us on a fun trip to celebrate something. She was so happy we didn't understand why. Then we found out what happened and we broke down. She said only losers cry for WRs. That was the last straw. Our dad fought for full custody and won. He still let us visit her when she moved away, but it was always awful. We cut contact with her as soon as we turned 18. The last time we saw her was at my HS graduation. She made a scene and called us ungrateful brats. Her HB joined in and insulted us too. We haven't spoken to her since. My brother Sam met his ex 3 years ago. She knew all about our mum and why we don't talk to her, but she didn't believe us. She thought we were exaggerating. They had a lot of problems because of her views, but she seemed to drop the idea of making us reconcile with our mum. They planned their wedding and everything looked fine until we got to the church. There they were, Mom, HB, and their 2 kids, sitting in the front row. I freaked out and called my brothers. Sam thought maybe she crashed the wedding, so he called his ex to warn her, but she said she invited them. Sam hung up and asked me to get him out of there. Our oldest brother handled the situation at the church. We went back home and locked ourselves in. His ex, her family, friends, and everyone else came to talk to him, but he wouldn't listen. Mom's HB even called and said we were worthless. After everything calmed down, most of Sam's friends and our family supported him. Dad's ex's parents threatened to sue him for the money they spent on the wedding. But Sam said he would rather pay them back than marry someone who betrayed him. We all stand by him. Sam, but he's facing a lot of backlash. Edit 1. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to us. Some of you asked, but no, she hasn't apologized. She even texted our oldest brother Joe that she thought inviting our mum was a nice wedding gift for Sam because she cares about family. Our dad gave them a house as a wedding gift, but only Sam owns it. She had keys, but they changed the locks today. Joe and some cousins are helping Sam move his stuff from her apartment this week. We're not worried about being sued, but we'll talk to a lawyer anyway. We heard Mom and her family are still in town, but we don't care. We're staying at our childhood home for a few days. Our dad is sad that Sam is hurting, but he's trying to cheer him up with my boyfriend and my SIL. I had to delete SL, deactivate my SM because of the nasty messages and comments. But the more people find out why Sam left, the less they bother us. I still feel bad for her humiliation, but my brother comes first. Edit 2. This is what Joe told me about what happened at the church. It was exactly what I expected. He got up in front of everyone and said Sam wasn't coming and they should all go home. He said he would return their gifts to our side of the family as soon as possible. The ex was still outside when someone from her family told her what Joe said. She started to cry and scream and call Sam over and over. Mom tried to talk to Joe, but he ignored her. She started to sob and say how awful we were to her. Some people felt sorry for her and comforted her. That's how she always acts. But Joe and his wife didn't care. When they left the church, the ex was waiting for them. She wanted to see Sam, but Joe said no. She wanted to know what to do with the party. Joe said if she didn't want the venue, he would donate the food to the staff there. Everyone was yelling except Joe. He didn't want to give Mom what she wanted. They, Joe and Sil, came back home after getting some groceries and fast food. We've been staying inside like we're kids again, plus 2 more people. We asked Sam if he wanted them to leave, but he said he wanted them to stay. We had planned to spend some family time after the wedding anyway, so it's not a big deal right now. When the ex showed up at the gate, we knew she didn't use the venue, so my S called them with Sam's info and told them to take the food. He also gave them some tips for their trouble. We'll get back all the alcohol that Dad paid for, so we'll have a very drunk end of the year. Some people messaged me and asked why Dad married Mom. He loved her and thought she was the nicest person ever. She wasn't, but she pretended to be nice to get him to marry her. He thought about staying with her until we grew up, but she got worse and worse. She would act nice sometimes, and he would hope she was changing, but then she would switch back. We're sure my Exil thinks Mom is a nice person who has ungrateful kids. She's very charming, and some people think it's funny when she makes fun of others, as long as it's not them, but that doesn't excuse X. Sam only explained himself to his boss, who was at the church. He's very understanding and was shocked by what Mom did to us. We're usually happy and well-adjusted people. Dad said it was a shock for all of us, and we can stay home as long as we need. Sam is moving back home for now. I showed my family the post and they were touched by your kindness. But Sam wants you to know that X didn't show any signs of trouble, and he really thought she got his background. He agreed to talk to her and her parents today, but only at our home and with us there to back him up. It's going to be an interesting visit. Update on my runaway brother. Some more info. Sam lost some money, but it's not a big deal. Her parents paid for her dress, a fancy cake, and part of the honeymoon. X wasn't our favorite in-law, but we really thought she loved Sam. We don't talk to Mum's side. Joe used to talk to Grandma, but he stopped after his wedding. Another disaster averted. Mum's remarks about me wanting to be the wife came from her thinking it was wrong for us to have Daddy-daughter days or outings, but he also had Daddy Joe days and Daddy Sam days. He always tried to spend time with us individually and together. She's just crazy. We don't tell people about our childhood, so when they ask about our parents, we just say, it's only Dad or it's just us and Dad. People think Mom is dead, and that makes it easier to avoid explaining why we don't talk to her. Mom's stepkids are both men in their early 30s. Dad has a girlfriend for a long time, and we really like her. She's been busy with her own things these days, but she says she's with us all the way. Update. I wondered why Sam agreed to meet her after ignoring her, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of his stuff on the floor to his best friend Tom. She told him Sam had to talk to her, or she would burn or destroy everything. Tom came to see Sam, told him what she did, and they told her they needed to get into the flat before anything happened. Tom, Joe, some cousins, and my BF went and got his clothes, electronics, important papers. Sam said he didn't care about the rest, and joked that they were the fastest movers he ever saw. The meeting was, to put it mildly, a joke. She came with her parents and sisters, tried to talk to Sam alone, but he refused. She just started talking. She never said sorry. She said it wasn't her fault we didn't appreciate a real family, and we were taught to hate mothers. She said she only wanted Sam to value mothers because she was afraid he would take her kids away from her, because that's what he learned to do. Sam didn't say anything until she called our family a cult and said our dad was a terrible father. That hit a nerve for all of us, and we don't let anyone insult our dad. Sam let her have it. He said she was a hateful liar, he was sick he ever touched her. He was thankful to the universe that I'm always early to everything. He said she should be ashamed of staying with a cheating husband like her mom does. He said she acted nice to get him to marry her, listed all the small things he overlooked because he really loved her, or who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for hurting his siblings, but he didn't hate her because that would mean he cared about her, and she didn't deserve that. At the end, he said she had enough time to clear things up, and since she played the victim, he would tell everyone why he didn't show up. It was harsh, but healing, and needed for Sam. Her parents didn't say anything, but they were very red. She was crying. Her sisters tried to defend her and their parents' marriage and expected us to fight back, but we didn't. Then Sam told his ex, Phil, he could sue him if he wanted. But if he did, Sam would reveal all their family's secrets to the world, and he doubted he wanted that. Surprisingly, the dad still argued Sam should try to fix things and marry his ex because they weren't getting any younger, and all families have fights. I rolled my eyes so hard. The rest of the meeting was about logistics for returning the wedding gifts they got, stopping their family from bothering us, cancelling and getting a refund for the honeymoon, changing the locks. X kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in business mode and didn't want anything from her. He only answered her when she said she was keeping her engagement ring that nobody asked for. They left without problems. When the alcohol arrived, Mom and husband snuck in through the gate when we opened it. She said she wanted to talk to her babies, and my dad told her to go away. She screamed he raised us wrong, and we embarrassed her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such bad people, and we should make up with her because we clearly lacked maternal love. She was right about that, and this was the sad result. Joe went out and told her to leave because the police were coming. She cried because it was the first time he talked to her in about 10 years. She tried to get him to go to dinner with her and her husband, but Joe told her to go away. He said the only news he wanted about her was her death, so he could celebrate. Her husband screamed and asked for an apology and threatened to hit Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until they left, and we closed the gate. Some people don't get why we act like this, but what I wrote about our mother is just the beginning. Dad wasn't happy with what Joe said, but he knew he had to say it, and he spoke for all of us. Maybe we're bad people, but we never want to see her again. We're all going to have family therapy and our own therapy. Sam doesn't want the house anymore, but Dad says to take it easy and heal his heart first. We've been watching horror movies and some Disney classics. We also played drama bingo with all the things that could happen, because we're dramatic like that. We love each other and we were raised to be nice to people, but we can be petty when we have to. I feel better knowing she made a fool of herself, and even though I wouldn't want anyone to be left at the church, I would do it again because I love my brother more than I pity her. We'll go on a family trip someday, but for now, we'll stay here. To the person who said Joe is a hero, his siblings couldn't ask for a better brother and friend. We've read everything so far. Thank you for letting me vent, the awards, the PMS. I'm sorry if my English wasn't good enough. Joe and Sam are fake names, but Daniela can go to hell. Little note, my brothers are reading your messages and comments. They want you to know we're lucky. They appreciate the positivity. Want you to know it gets better for those in the same situation, and you're all invited to our cult. Update 2. First, more explanations. If you want a PM, it's fine even if it's to insult us, but I'll only answer in public. Joe wasn't parentified to the person who wrote me a mean essay about it. Here is the answer. My brothers spent time with me because they wanted to. We had special days with each other or together. They did what they wanted, had many friends, went on trips with me or alone, etc. There were nannies, family, dad. They never had to take me with them if they didn't want to. They had a lot of freedom within reason. My parents divorced when I was 3, and even if they shared custody, we stayed with Dad 90% of the time. We never visited our mother, unless we were in pairs at least. The only times Joe or Sam visited her after turning 18 was when I had to visit and they didn't want me to go alone. We've been in therapy for a long time. We're just having special sessions because we saw our mother, but Joe was the only one who talked to her. Also, please know Sam and I can defend ourselves and didn't ask Joe to confront her. He did it on his own. Why didn't Dad go to the church with Joe? Because Sam asked him to go home. We didn't think he needed to see her even if he had to talk to her. Sam cried, but he's not a monster. He's heartbroken. He thought he would spend his life with Daniela. He thought he was good at judging people. He thought he never had to see our mother again. We have a lot of emotions, but we learned to keep them in check around people we don't like or trust. It was how we survived our treatment. Joe used to talk to Grandma, but he cut her off after she brought Mother as her guest. There was no religious ceremony. The venue had security and a blacklist. He wrote Grandma a letter and never talked to her again. We didn't go to her funeral. The wedding had about 250 guests. When she made the wedding list and seating chart, she used different names so we didn't know. Daniela is not Brazilian. My dad asked me to tell you all that. His kids are not alcoholics. He's worried about what people think, even if this is anonymous, lol. Anyway, this week has been crazy. Those who warned us about the pregnancy trick were right. She posted it online. People freaked out again and called Sam to ask if it was true. Sam called her and told her to delete it. She kept saying she was pregnant. He told her to delete it and talk to him. She deleted it, met with Sam, and thought he wanted her back. I was with Sam. She was happy until she saw me. She cried, held her stomach, and when Sam asked her if she was really pregnant, she said yes and said she didn't want her child to have a broken family. Sam said they were going to the doctor right away to check, and she cried more and said he didn't believe her. Short story, she's not pregnant, but she posted Sam was making her abort and she was sad. That was a terrible thing to say. People called Sam because they were confused by the drama and didn't know what to think. When my Esana saw the posts and the meet, she called Daniela. I don't know what she said, but I've never seen Anna so mad. The posts are gone, but Anna wrote an email with all the facts, including that Daniela was never pregnant, and sent it to everyone on the wedding list. This morning we heard Daniela had a breakdown after leaving voicemails saying she wanted to die if she couldn't be with Sam. This is another trick from our mother's book, and Sam just called the police and told them what she did. Her family made her go to therapy and she's being watched now. We don't like that it came to this, but we don't want to be involved anymore. We're also changing our numbers. We already asked for it. Our mother emailed Anna and said she would sue her for defamation for the email blast, but we're not worried about it. Anna's parents are awesome and they made it clear. They're on our side and 100% agree with how she handled things. Joe was angry, but Anna made him let it go and move on. Mother's husband has been his usual self. Dad is thinking about a restraining order, but they're not good in our country. We had a fun time at home yesterday. There was karaoke, dancing, good food and drinks, games, and a bouncy house, because why not? We love them. Most people didn't talk about the wedding and the posts, but those who did were polite. Dad already gave away a lot of the alcohol to his workers. They got to pick what they wanted and got a bottle each. He's also putting bottles in his Christmas baskets this year. We're going to spend the holidays together and travel. I told Sam about the new paint for the house, but he doesn't want to live there. He'll rent it. I joked about eloping or not having a real wedding to avoid drama, and Joe said I would get the biggest party ever if I wanted to. So yeah, he's the best. Thank you for your kind comments and messages, not the mean ones, the awards and the interest. Sorry to the nice Daniel out there, it wasn't for you. Holiday update, thank you for your interest. You're very nice and it's always fun to log in and update you on our cult. First, some points. Hi, best sub and YouTube. You're part of the family legend now. I read every single comment, message, etc. Some said I needed a female figure in my life, but I had my grandma, aunts, etc. My dad's girlfriend Rita is not a mother figure, and I don't think I'm a bad woman because of it. When I got my period and told my dad, he had a whole thing ready. Then he told my brothers, and they each had a whole thing ready too. They each had their own way, and the others didn't know. Short story, I had 3 men taking care of it and even giving me a presentation about it. It might sound super awkward for me, but it was more awkward for them. It's a funny story, and it reminds me how much they cared about me all the time. Rita is amazing, and we love her, but she's fine not being married to my dad. My dad doesn't want to get married again. If he did, we would support him. Daniela is okay. Her sisters tried to make a big drama and say we were terrible, but after the email from Anna, nobody believes them. One of them was also dumped by her boyfriend because he didn't want to be with a toxic family. I won't tell you where we live or what our dad does for work, so please don't ask again. We have new numbers, new SM handles, and are planning to move. Joe and I also have a little note with fake real names, and I write my posts in Word. It's mainly so I don't mess up my rants. My dad wants you to know your applications to the cult have been accepted. Anyway, I checked the last update and I can't believe it was only in early November. I have mostly good updates for you. Sam is doing well. He's taking time off work. His boss is very understanding and told him he can come back anytime. He's still living with Dad and has savings, so he's not worried about that. He's running now and decided to run a marathon next year. He's more and more his goofy self and is doing renovations at home, or in other words, Dad and Sam are trying to paint some rooms and do murals. It's hilarious and they have a lot of fun. Daniela wrote him a letter, but he sent it back. The house is for rent and he's okay with it. I'm engaged. It turns out it was months in the making, and when I joked about eloping, my future husband Matt freaked out. I found out the plan. He talked to Sam, who knew the plans because he didn't want to upset him, but Sam said he would be upset if he didn't. He also talked to Joe and my dad. My dad made him sweat when he asked for my hand and said it wasn't his to give, but they say it was all in good fun. It happened earlier this month. I'm very excited, but not as much as my dad. He says he wants to walk me down, even if it's a civil wedding. While my news are great, I think the other big news are better. Joe and Anna have been on the adoption list for a while, and a couple weeks ago they got a baby. She's the most beautiful, sweet, best baby ever. The adoption is final, as it usually is in our country, for newborn or almost newborn babies. We knew they wanted to adopt for a while, so when they told us the baby was theirs, we cried but happy tears. Dad is loving being a grandpa, and even with all the bad things this year, this is the best thing that happened to our family in years. Mum found out about the baby and wanted to meet her. She got our version of a restraining order. She'll never see her if we can help it. Those are the bad news. Because of the new we decided to stay home now with the new. We wouldn't travel anyway. We had a Christmas SLO welcome baby slab show engagement small party last weekend that Joe and Nee didn't come to because she's too young, but they were there on Zoom. We all agreed to give Sam some funny gifts like t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, etc. of Julia Roberts because he's the runaway bride of the family. Joe and I are thinking of moving because we live in flats now and we want to live in houses. We're still shaken up and we have work to do, but we know we have a lot and we want to focus on it because the negative is small, and no matter what happens, I'm always grateful for my family. I think this will be the last update, folks. I know the last ones were mostly drama-free and might not be as fun, but we like that. Not planning to delete anything. The account will be here in case something worth updating happens. I wish you all the best end of year and a great 2022. 2022 catch-up. Hi, cult. I guess we should catch up, whoever still wants to know what's going on with the cult, not to lose the rhythm. First, some points. Because of popular demand, yes, our native language is Spanish. Adoptions are final in our country, done by the government, and we rarely have situations like open adoptions. Joe and Anna were on the waiting list for a while because they decided that's how they wanted to have kids together. I said Hamus as in we have like, when they announced the Pope LOL, we're now 35, 33, and 29. HB was supposed to mean husband, but I love the huge bastard meaning. It works both ways really. Joe and I moved as we planned last year. The year has been pretty good, just minor drama around. Daniela can still go to hell though. Anyway, let's do the kind of bad news first. Daniela came back with a twist we didn't expect. She's pregnant and tells anyone who listens, Sam is the dad. Too bad for her. It's impossible for him to be the dad because he wasn't even in the country when the baby was made, but she didn't know that. Sam has offered many times to do a paternity test, but she says no. Sam is safe legally. He just feels sorry for her baby. Daniela's dad sued Sam for emotional distress of two of his daughters, Daniela and the one the boyfriend left. But nothing happened because dealt with it. Surprise, Joe is a lawyer. It's relevant info for this catch-up, I promise. Sam decided not to do anything against him because he has too much on his mind and feels bad for the family. Mother still wanted to meet baby, but that will never happen. She used one of her favorite tricks. She has cancer. She contacted Joe and Anna through their work emails and begged them to help her meet baby because she's so sick, maybe needs a transplant of something, etc. You see, this is like the 5th time she has cancer, but in reality she has had cancer 0 times. She loves the attention, the pain, the drama, and all that bad stuff bad people like to bring out of others. We never believed her, of course, but what we didn't expect was that she would make a fool of herself when she contacted Anna's mom on FB. Anna's mom is a nice, good Catholic lady, so mother must have thought she would be easy to fool. She told her about her cancer and how sad she was to not meet baby. Anna's mom asked her some questions about the diagnosis and treatment, which were nonsense as expected. Then she blocked her and shared the screenshots on her wall. It's like high school drama, but with older people, and it has funny comebacks. Baby is very happy, very healthy, and the only issue about her was what Rita would be called. Not by Rita, but by our mother, who said Rita had no right to be grandma. Joe and Anna talked with Rita, and they all agreed she is Grandma Rita and mother can't do anything about it. Sam is doing well. He left his job and started his own thing. He's still living at the family home, renting the other house and sort of seeing someone. She's nice, knows all the stuff, makes great cakes, knows how to knit. We like her, so we're both hopeful and careful. They're taking it slow, but it's nice to see him with someone like this. He also kept painting rooms with Dad, and the results are, please remember, I love these two, hilariously bad, silly, and like something you do in kindergarten. Dad got coyed first time and he was so scared he decided to update his will. That's why Joe's profession is important. They wanted Sam and I to know about it when they finished it. Everything he owns is split in 4, his kids in the other quarter to any grandchildren. But the family house is not to be split and is going to be in my name soon. I was a bit confused, but Joe and Dad talked about it and wanted me to have it if and only if Sam agreed. He did, and he's very happy about it. They didn't really explain much other than it was the right thing to do. I feel a little because I'm the baby there, but it's okay. Joe bought a house in the same neighborhood as our family home, so even if they're not in the same block or anything, they're close by. Matt and I, are not buying anything anymore since I'll be getting the house, and it wouldn't make sense. We moved to the family home and it's been interesting, but nice. Dad has started semi-retirement and spending more days at Rita's, so it works for everyone. Sam can stay there as long as he wants, but his murals have to go LOL. We're still engaged, still happy, still enjoying babysitting and still not pregnant, but got a cat in the spring. We're planning a December wedding and couldn't ask for a better end of the year, so that's it. No drama, or at least not big drama. We're moving forward and healing all the time, which is how we like it. In case you wonder why I decided to post now, one of us is a big fan of Best of Redditor Updates, and we remembered the posts. Anyway, greetings from the cult, and we wish you all a good last few months of 2022. 2023 catch-up. Hello Reddit. First, as it's tradition, we now have 2 cats. Sam moved in with his GF, and we're so happy he's happy again. Dad is moved in with Rita. It's been bittersweet, but overall we're positive and supportive of each other. Let's do bad news first. It turns out there was cancer on our mother's side, just not hers. One of her stepchildren actually had it and died at the start of the year. She's milking it for all it's worth, and we're disgusted by her as usual. While we can feel for the LW, we're not changing our stance on being NC with her and her whole family. Daniela had her baby, a very cute boy that's not Sam's. Not that we ever doubted that. She tried to make him recognize him and sign stuff, but he said no, and after the test, there was nothing she could do. She lost it when she heard Sam was dating seriously, and even worse when he moved in with his GF. She still thinks he's the one for her and won't give up. She tried to cyberbully the GF, but this woman is tough. Oh, and yes, the father of her child is the married co-worker in his 50s, which is another drama, but not ours. Sam moved in with his GF. He's still in therapy, we all are, but doing much better. His GF is a very loved and welcomed member of the family. She knows everything that happened and fit in perfectly. He's also doing great in other things, and he ran his first marathon. Not the best time, but hey, he did it. Joe and A and baby are very happy. They're still on the list to adopt because they want to have at least one more. I also wanted to explain something again. In my country, the adoptions are not done by agencies. You get on a list after some tests and interviews to see if you're a good fit, and when you match, you get the baby. That baby is yours and that's it. I know I'm still a bit vague, but please remember we're not from the US and things are different in each country. Besides that, baby is just the best baby ever. Yes, I might be biased, but she also gets told no a lot because we all agree she shouldn't be spoiled or, well, too spoiled. She has a room at our house, Rita's, and a playpen at Sam's because they're looking for a permanent house and they work from home. Dad is living with Rita most of the time. She's very happy about it. And they went on some trips lately. They love being grandparents and are very involved. They now claim 3 grandbabies because the cats go there sometimes too. It's funny because my dad wasn't so keen on the idea of cats at first, but now he even takes photos of all his babies, and he prints the best ones because that's what he likes. He also shares progress updates with his friends, and sometimes they're confused if he's talking about the cats or baby, because he gets so excited about anything they do, and he buys them too many toys, in my opinion. But apparently that's what a grandpa does, LOL. We got married in December. My dad walked me down even if we did non-traditional stuff for my country. Joe was Matt's best man. Sam was my best maid. He wanted to be called Julio the whole planning process when it was about the wedding. Mother tried to come and tried to get Anna's mom to help her, but she wouldn't tell her anything. Some of Mother's relatives said it was shameful, not sure if that's the right word, to have Rita there instead of my own mother. But well, I think it's horrible to support her actions, so to each their own. We had a blast, and it was not stressful at all. Nobody ran away, nobody cried of sadness, nobody tried to make a scene. We're remodeling part of the house to make it more ours, and not be in my childhood bedroom anymore, but so far everything is going very good for the cult. Sam got fewer Julia Roberts gifts, but he wears his t-shirts with pride all year round. On a last note, Sam's GF has talked to us about the idea of proposing to Sam when the time is right, so who knows, maybe this time he'll make it to the altar.